Hi there, this is Lilith Eeckels, garden girl at TwoPeasInABucket.com. Welcome to another series of In the Mood to Scrap, your Tuesday video here at 2Peas. I'll be jumping in for the lovely Liz Karchner, who will probably be holding her little baby boy by now. So in this series we put together a mood board and we create a layout using this mood board. This is the mood board I put together, and I really wanted to focus on floral designs, and I really love the twigs with the little buds. I also pinned or used one of the quotes, and I also loved the little collage designs. And this is the layout I created using the mood board. So lots of floral patterns, quite bold. Not my usual kind of design, but I really loved putting this layout together. It made me think a bit outside of the box. So here is all the product I used. So I had some of the Mr. Huey's and also some gelatos. I really love using these, such a fun product. Some embellishments from American Crafts, some rub-ons, some more stickers, my photo. I had an overlay from crepe paper from the DIY shop. These are papers from the 6x6 pack from Maggie Holmes. And then I have got some scraps from Studio Calico, American Crafts, and this will be my base paper. I also had some stamps and then lots of little embellishments. This is the text for my title, which I cut out using my Cameo. I also have a bit of ribbon, a bit of washi tape, and some wood veneer, some little buttons. And on this layout I'll be using lots of die cuts that I cut out with my Cameo. So little hearts, these are little branches. So these cuts are from the Silhouette store. And also lots of little tiny flowers. So those little tiny flowers will be used for the floral design. This is the photo I'll be using as design element for my layout, so a bit like a sketch. I really love the collage effect. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to cut 3 pieces of pattern paper, and I'm using my scraps, and I'm not measuring this, I'm just cutting up rectangles and squares, and I'm going to place these to the right of the layout. So that's the basic design of the layout. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare some of my embellishments. So here I've got all the die cut I'll be using, some little hearts, and I'll also be using some little branches and little flowers. And I'm just placing them on some scrap cardstock just to protect my work surface. So here I'm just laying all these little flowers onto the cardstock. I'll be using quite a few of them, maybe not all of them, but it's better to have a few extra just in case. And I'm going to use 2 techniques to cover them. The first one is using the gelatos, and I'm just adding some of the gelatos to some plastic, some scrap plastic sheets, and I'm going to use a brush, and this is a brush where you have a water compartment in the top, so you fill that with water, and I'm just going over the color of the gelato and then adding that to the branches and to the little flowers. And the second technique is quite similar, but instead of using the gelatos I'm using some of the Mr. Huey's mist. So I'm going to add color to all of my branches, to my little hearts and my little flowers, using the Mr. Huey's and the gelatos. And what's really fun with the gelatos is you can mix the colors together. So some of the little designs I just used one color, and for others I mixed some of the orange with the coral pink. And this is just a really fun way to add a splash of color. So those are all my little die cuts that have been colored, and I'm going to continue building up the layout. So here I'm just placing those 3 pieces of pattern paper. I'm adding a bit of mist, splatters, and once I've added the splatters I'm going to continue creating a basic design, and then I'll build up from that. So I won't be adding the colored die cuts as such. So I'm just going to create a cluster on the left hand side which will have my photo, and I'm using some of the leftovers from the papers I cut up earlier. So this will make the whole layout coordinate well. And once I've done that, I'm going to start adding all the little colored cutouts. So here I'm starting with the branches, okay, and I'm really adding them to the borders of the paper. And then I'm going to add all my little colored flowers and the little hearts, and I'm just placing these randomly on the papers that are on the right hand side. So this is what really inspired me on my mood board. All the little branches popping out from the side, the flowers, and I'm just going to put all the other die cuts to the one side, and I might use them later on. Now this is a bit of a fiddly part because I had to fiddle around with all the little elements until I was really happy with how it looked. And so this may take a bit, but once it's done, it's really easy. So as you can see, I've added a few branches to the photo cluster as well, and I'm just going to cut out a few circles from the vellum. This is some of the Dear Lizzie vellum with the flowers, and I'm also going to add that to this kind of collage design on the right hand side. Now once that is done, I'm going to start drawing with a pencil some branches, okay, that will lead to the flowers. I'm just doing this in pencil, and afterwards I will go over that with a pen. And you really don't have to be afraid to doodle a bit on your layouts. It's a fun way to add something unique. And I really love drawing and adding little doodle elements. This is not really complicated, you're just drawing some branches. Now once I'm happy with how the branches look and the flowers are placed, I'm going to start sticking them all down. I'm just going to glue down the last die cuts, and then I'm going to add the branches. So I already drew them in pencil, and I'm just going over them with a black pen. Now at first I just drew one line, and then at the end I decided to go over those lines several times just to make it a bit more whimsical and fun. I am also going to add a few more embellishments to my cluster, and I'm just going to layer them one on top of the other. And I'm using the same embellishments on the cluster as those I used on the right hand side of the layout. So I'm using the little hearts, the little flowers, some of the vellum. I also went over the right hand border with some stitching. I used my machine. And here I'm just using my pencil to go over those little colored die cuts, just to make them stand out a bit. Some more embellishments. I decided to use some buttons in the same colors as those of the flowers, and I also used a little bit of wood veneer hearts just to repeat the theme of hearts and flowers. And when I was going through my stash, I've really loved this rub-on from Amy Tangerine with the flowers, and I thought I'd use that on the layout as well, and I just placed it below the layers and just rubbed it on. And as you can see, one of the layers is one of the overlays from the DIY shop collection. So you don't necessarily have to place that on the photo, you can also use it beneath your photos, use it as a pattern paper. A few more labels here. I'm also going to use this flare from the Amy Tangerine collection, which also has a floral design on it. And I'm also going to use this 3D embellishment as well. When going through the sticker book from the Neapolitan collection, I saw that there were these really cute little stickers, flower stickers in them, and I also used those on the layout. So I'm just creating lots of little layers, some little embellishments, trying to recreate the floral design that was on the mood board. Yet again, I'm just going over some of the colored die cuts with a pencil just to make them pop out a bit more. Okay, so I think that now all my little embellishments are in place, and I don't think I have to add anything else. As you've noticed, maybe you can see I've also used some washi tape. Now I'm going to add my title, and I used a quote that I'd seen on Pinterest where it says, "Where you invest your love, you invest your life," and I found that was really beautiful. And so I cut that out, and I'm just placing that on my layout. Now once I'd done that, I decided to add a few more little splatters, and I'm using some more of the Mr. Huey's. And I thought I'd just leave the title as such, but then I noticed that maybe I could add a little bit of color, and I'm going to use the same technique as I used for the flowers. So here I just added a little bit of the gelatos onto an acrylic block, and then yet again with my brush I'm just dabbing that into the texture with the paste, the gelato paste, and adding that to the bottom of the die cuts. So creating a bit of an ombre effect. So it will be green at the bottom, and as you go up, you will end up with the cream from the die cut. And once that has been done, I can just glue it down, and here's the finished layout. I really love how bright it is and colorful, and at the same time a bit whimsical, a bit different, but it was such fun to create. Thank you so much for being with me for this In the Mood to Scrap video series. I hope you'll play along with this week's challenge, and I would like you to create a layout using a floral design. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye bye.